Hey, this is Tuhon Aditya from LightHaven. We have a saying in Pekiti Tirsia Kali, which is that every slash is followed by a thrust and every thrust is followed by a slash. Today we're going to be seeing the practical application of this using this single knife. We just finished the Shastra Vidya seminar over here, and whenever I'm training in some other martial art, I always like to draw parallels with the things that I already do. And one of the things that really stood out to me and has stood out to me for a while was very similar concepts and principles in offense. So the principle we're talking about today is in Pekiti, we describe it as every thrust is followed by a slash and every slash is followed by a thrust. And the idea is to have this never-ending series of attacks. So I can thrust and slash and thrust and slash and thrust and slash, thrust and slash and slash and thrust. The idea is that once I have made this entry, then I can constantly keep up a stream of attacking and not give a gap for my opponent to start to fill. However, in practice, we can do a lot more with this rather than just have a barrage of attacks. The slash and thrust can also be used to craft and create openings, and that's specifically what we're going to be exploring today. So me and Zarir are facing each other, our weapon sides are in front. Zarir is going to give me an angle 1, and then he's going to follow it up with an angle 2. Now, generally, I always like to train with follow-up attacks. Oftentimes, people will say, give me an angle 1, please. That if I cut and parry this way, he might drop the knife. I like to operate in a scenario or with the belief that just because I cut the hand doesn't mean that he drops the knife. I may not have injured it bad enough, or maybe he's really holding on really tight, in which case that follow-up attack is probably going to come from the backhand side. Now I can do a couple of things. I can go slash and slash. I can cut and parry, cut and trap. However, it's not necessary that Zarir returns with a high slash. He could return with a thrust or a low slash. Anything from that backhand side he could be returning from. So when Zarir gives me an angle 1, I'm going to step to the outside and use my live hand to parry. At the same time, I'm slashing. Now every slash is followed by a thrust. So when he gives me that backhand, I'm going to meet it with a thrust of my own, like this, across the wrist or across the forearm. Whether he gives me a high slash or a low slash or a thrust, I can meet it with a thrust of my own. So one more time, he gives me a slash and a backhand, I meet it with a thrust of my own. Now from here, every slash is followed by a thrust and every thrust is followed by a slash. I'm going to push through, and that thrust now becomes a slash while I look to control his weapon arm. And from here, I can again look to push this weapon arm away, step through and finish with a thrust of my own. One more time from this side, I slash, I thrust, I'm going to turn it into a slash while controlling the arm, go across, and from here I'm going to finish with a thrust. That's one example of how this can be used. The other example is if he's thrusting me down low. Again, I'm going to look to parry that arm while stepping to the outside. As I parry and step, I'm going to look to cut. From here, every slash is followed by a thrust. I'm going to thrust to the body and make connection with his arm. As I do this, I'm pushing his arm further away from me while attacking him. From here, I'm going to turn this thrust into a slash, further pushing his arm away from me while this arm looks to control his weapon side. From here, I can again step through and finish with a thrust. One more time from this side, he's going to thrust, I'm going to parry and slash, I'm going to enter with a thrust, turn it into a slash, control that arm, step to the outside and finish with a thrust. The same concept can also apply when I'm doing Pakal with the same attacks. If he's going angle 1, I'm cutting and parrying. He's giving me angle 2, that's my thrust. I'm controlling, that's my slash. As I'm stepping away, that can be my thrust. Same thing for the low thrust. I'm cutting and parrying. I'm attacking using that thrust into his body or into his leg. From here, I can turn that into a slash, or I can just thrust to get the arm away, control the arm, slash and thrust. One more time, I cut and parry, I'm going to thrust to get the arm away, I'm going to control that arm, I'm going to slash and then thrust. From this side once, angle 1, angle 2, I slash and parry, I thrust to control that arm, that's my slash, that's a thrust. With a low thrust, cut and parry, thrust to get the arm away, control, slash and thrust. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked what you saw, if you learned from what you saw, please do like and share this video. Please do subscribe to the channel. If you have any requests or comments, please leave that down below. All of these things really do help out the school and the channel a lot. A huge thank you to all of our patrons. Thank you so much for your support. If you would like to know more about our Patreon page and the exclusive content that we offer there, check out the link in the description down below. A huge thank you to Zarir for all of his help, and thank you all for watching. See you in the next video.